Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolebarger, Holy Ground Explorations. It's time for our weekly Middle East update. It's the week of May 26th, so go to our website, holygroundexplorations.com, get the PDF, follow along. Got pictures there, right? Let's jump right in. What a week. What a week. We're just coming off the celebration of the reunification of Jerusalem. It's been 50 years. Netanyahu, I love his comment. He says, it's been 50 years that Jerusalem was returned to be our capital in our country. And keep in mind, we didn't conquer it, rather we liberated it. I love that. And then Rivlin, he says, Jerusalem has been eulogized before and it's rose from the ashes. And sometimes I hear talk of the Jerusalem problem. Jerusalem's not a problem. Jerusalem is the solution. Let that sink in. Okay, headlines this week. Again, the reunification. Netanyahu, the Temple Mount, the Western Wall will always remain under Israeli sovereignty. It's amazing that there are those that are brazenly portraying Israel as foreigners in their own land and in their own capital. Jerusalem. So much could be said, but not too much time. So, Palestinians' new article, Palestinian citizens were left a bit underwhelmed by the Trump-Abbas meetings. We'll get into that a little bit more. Keep in mind, no mention the whole time that Trump was there about a two-state solution or an independent Palestinian state. And I don't think that that was a coincidence. And then calling it like it is. I guess that's Trump's, that's the way the man rolls, right? Speaking in Riyadh, he says, Hamas and Hezbollah are responsible for countless deaths, generation of vanished dreams. We need to find partners, faith partners, to join together. Peace in this world is possible, including between the Israelis and the Palestinians, but we must drive the terrorists out. I think that was pretty crystal clear and I think well received. Trump's comments, again, as I mentioned, found it interesting that while he was there, no mention of a two-state solution or an independent Palestinian state. He said all the right things. He stayed on script. He reaffirmed his commitment to reaching a peace agreement. He says that he's going to do everything possible. He's in Bethlehem, right place for the message, but I sort of feel like there was a jab into the ribs of Abbas in this picture, because while in Bethlehem, he makes the following comments. He says, in a joint peace conference with Abbas right next to him, peace can never take root in an environment where violence is tolerated, funded, and even rewarded. This whole issue of the PA paying out monthly stipends to terrorist families, again, Trump is addressing it. And you wonder if that message was heard loud and clear. Our friends from the Palestinian Media Watch don't have the time to go through all of this. Make sure you read it. Good question. What should we believe? Because oftentimes, and this is what our friends at the PMW give us, oftentimes what's being said in English is not what's being said in Arabic. So Abbas basically says to Trump, all we want is a two-state solution. Let's use 1967 borders. We want the state of Palestine with its capital in East Jerusalem living alongside of Israel in peace and security. That's the rhetoric. That's what's being said. However, on May 15th, the PLO leader Khalid Mismar, his comment, Everybody knows our goal is to liberate all of the land of Palestine. We may accept or agree to receive only 20 to 22% of Palestine, West Bank, Gaza Strip, but it's not the end game. Our desire is to retake all of Israel and drive the occupiers out. It's right in front of your face. I'll refrain from any further comments on that. Next article, I find it interesting that Trump, this media's report, two things that jumped out. Trump mentioned God 9 times, and then also this new issue of the Manchester tragedy that took place, where Trump says, I won't even call them monsters, they're simply losers. It's interesting what the press picks up upon. But you are dealing with cultures of death versus cultures of life, and I agree with Trump that culture of death would relish being called monsters, when in reality they are losers. Take the time to read that article. And then, bottom line, not a whole lot of substance from Trump's visit to Israel, except this: he brings a message of love. His words: I am deeply grateful for the invitation. I'm very, very honored to be with you, Trump said. And here's his words: we love Israel. We respect Israel. I send your people the warmest greetings from your friend and ally, all the people in the United States of America. And at the end, this is the speech that he gave at the Israeli Museum. He received a standing ovation when he concluded by saying, we hear a lot from Iran's leaders about calling for the death of America, specifically also the death and the destruction of Israel, but not as long as Donald J. Trump is in office, believe me. And with that, the crowd stood. Again, not a whole lot of substance, but a good communicated message of an ally that's saying, we got your back. Now we'll have to wait and see. Concerned about the unconventional peace plan. Trump is looking for different options to create this peace, and you can read the article, but the thing that concerns me, and we'll probably follow up this next week, is whenever I hear about this so-called Green Line, the 1967 borders, I feel like it's important that Christians, that believers understand or are educated what that means. Okay? Golan Heights, what will be done with that? Back to Syria? Is that giving it into the hands of Iran? If you've been there, you understand why Israel cannot give up the Golan. The old city. The Green Line is basically that road that's right outside the Jaffa Gate and the Damascus Gate. Okay? That's the marker of West and East Jerusalem according to the Green Line, which means all of the holy sites. Jerusalem Quarter, Western Wall, Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Garden of Gethsemane, Mount of Olives, all of those things that I just mentioned would be in the hands of the Palestinians. So I know they talk about land swaps or whatever, but I'm not really quick to get excited about the starting point being the Green Line. Do your homework. Eyes wide open. Some talk is going on right now about the United States beginning to push Israel into transferring parts of the West Bank, Area C, making them areas A and B. You can read that for yourself. Quote of the week, wrapping up here. Beautiful pictures of Jerusalem here, what they can do with the walls of the old city and projections. It's amazing. But while Trump was enthusiastic about the possibilities of peace, again, no mention of a two-state solution or an independent Palestinian state. And just so you know, And that's a quote of silence. The Palestinians once again are making it clear, because the one thing that didn't come up that we're waiting to still hear about is the movement of the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And the PA wants to make sure their stance is crystal clear. Quote, "We believe that moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem would mean the end of the peace process!" Exclamation point. And this was just stated by the second in command of the Palestinian Authority, Saeb Erekat. And if you're wondering why Trump held off, I think people are digging in their heels. We're going to still have to wait and see regarding all of this. Please take the time to read the article that I simply said, Selah, think about it. Want to schedule some speaking opportunities throughout the summer. Would love to come to your town, your church, your home fellowship. Anybody interested in Israel, email me if you're interested in trying to get something set up. And with that, like I said, it's been quite a week. We do have a tour that's coming up that's called Off the Beaten Path. Check that out. And we have two spring tours, 2018 back-to-back in May. If you haven't been to Israel, pray about joining us this year, or I should say next year, 2018 in Jerusalem. God bless you, and I wish you all shalom. And remember, pray for the peace of Jerusalem.